Good morning and welcome to the Orange Coast Unitarian Universalist Church. My name is Donna McCartney and I'm honored to be your worship associate today. So I'm joined by Wendy Karn, our intern minister, and Jacob Swetland, our director of music ministries, Karen Magoon Pearson, our director of religious education for children and youth, and welcoming you this morning. Reverend Sean is not with us. She will be back next week. So we also want to recognize the many volunteers that have helped us put this service together, and you can see them right up there. And we've got many more that don't get honored that way behind the scenes. So thank you, everyone, for helping our church function so beautifully. We respectfully recognize that many volunteers that have helped. We just talked about that, but we also respectfully recognize that our church property rests on Ahashiman and Tongva land. As Unitarian Universalists, we have many different beliefs, but we are one loving community. We're bound together not by a common set of rules or beliefs, but rather a covenant. A covenant is simply a promise that whatever our beliefs, we accept one another and encourage each other in spiritual growth. We affirm that all life has inherent value and that all existence is interconnected. We strive for justice and compassion in our deeds and relationships. We're committed to creating a welcoming community without regard to the traits that sometimes divide people. To our roomers, we invite you to silence your cell phones. To our Zoomers, good morning, Zoomers. We invite you to say hello in the chat. Welcome. We begin our worship with the lighting of our chalice. All right, so let's say our affirmation together. Love is the spirit of this church, and service is its law. To dwell together in peace, to seek truth and love, and to help one another. This we affirm together. Thank you so much, Sarah.
Rejoice and come in. Enter, rejoice and come in. Today will be a joyful day. Enter, rejoice and come in. Open your ears to the song. Open your ears to the song. Today will be a joyful day. Enter, rejoice and come in. Open your hearts, everyone. Open your hearts, everyone. Today will be a joyful day. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Don't be afraid of some change. Don't be afraid of some change. Today will be a joyful day. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Today will be a joyful day. Enter, rejoice, and come
We gather into this circle. We gather into this circle of care to dream, to envision, to embody, and achieve the compassion we dream, the justice we envision, and the dignity of each in an ever-growing circle of love and justice.
When I lift my voice, let it be in song, a defiant voice in the face of wrong. I won't stand alone, we'll stand side by side, 'cause we know that love is always just
Good morning. So I was really glad when I heard that Wendy was talking about the importance of rest today, for a lot of reasons. But also today we're going to be talking about the spiritual practice of observing a Sabbath in our elementary class today. So I thought that that went together really well. And this topic always makes me think of my grandma because she was super bad at resting. The worst at resting that I knew. She was always running around doing things, and she was not really comfortable with other people resting too. So I remember, talking about, oh, it's the end of the school year, it's going to be this summer, and she'd be like, what are you going to do? Like, what do you have planned? And I'd be like living, being a person, But I was thankful for my mom, who was kind of breaking that cycle and, would always kind of afterwards like, yeah, I don't know what's up with Nana, she just has trouble slowing down. So I was glad to kind of have that counter viewpoint. So I've definitely found that rest has been important for my mental health, of course. But also, I think it makes me more productive and more creative and a better problem solver, have more patience, all that kind of stuff. So today's story is all about a samurai who learns about the power of restfulness from, who else? A cat. So there once lived a samurai who was plagued by a large and clever rat who had the run of the house. She was even bold enough to come out of her hiding place in the daytime, doing all kinds of mischief. This annoyed the samurai to no end, so he went to the village to buy a cat. A street vendor sold him a cat that he said would catch the rat, and indeed, the cat looked young and energetic and up to the task. But the rat was even quicker than the cat. And after a week with no success, the samurai brought the cat back. This time, the vendor pulled out a large and grizzled cat and guaranteed that no rat could escape this master mouser. The rat knew enough to stay clear of the tough alley cat, but when the cat was sleeping, the rat just ran about. So half the day the rat would hide, but the other half she again had the run of the place. So the samurai brought the cat back to the vendor, who shook his head in despair, saying he had given the samurai his best cat and there was nothing more he could do. On his way home, the samurai happened upon a monk who sought his advice. And after hearing the samurai's story, the monk offered him the services of the cat that lived in the temple. The temple cat was old, toothless, and ragged-tailed, and she scarcely seemed to notice when she was carried away by the very doubtful samurai. And for 2 weeks, the cat did little more than sleep all day and all night and probably wake up a couple times to eat. The samurai wanted to give the cat back to the temple, but the monk insisted he keep her a while longer, assuring him the rat's days were close to an end. So the rat became accustomed to the presence of the lazy old cat and was soon up to her old tricks, even on occasion brazenly dancing around the old cat as she slept. Then one day, as the rat went about her business without any concern, she passed close by the cat, who swiftly struck out her paw and pinned the rat to the floor. And that was the end of the samurai's rat problem. All right, so I'm going to light our children's chalice. And then we're going to sing our children and their teachers out to their religious education classes.
We
In a cemetery once, an old one in New England, I found a strangely soothing epitaph. The name of the deceased and her dates had been scoured away by the wind and the rain, but there was a carving of a tree and roots and branches among the words. The words were, "She attended well and faithfully to a few worthy things." At first, this seemed a little meager to me, a little stingy, a part of her survivors that maybe they didn't get everything, but I wrote it down and have thought about it ever since, and now I can't imagine a more profound, proud, and satisfying legacy. She attended well and faithfully to a few worthy things. Every day I stand in danger of being struck by lightning and having the obituary in the local papers for all the world to see say, "She attended frantically and ineffectually to a great many unimportant and meaningless details." How do you want your obituary to read? "He got all the dishes washed and dried before playing with his children in the evening." "She balanced her checkbook with meticulous precision and never missed a day of work." Missed a lot of sunsets. Missed a lot of love. Missed a lot of risk. Just missed a lot. But her money was in order. She answered her calls, all her email, all her voicemail, but along the way, she forgot to answer the call to service and compassion and forgiveness, and first and most importantly, herself. He gave sparingly, without radical intention, without passion, without conviction. She could not or would not hear the calling of her heart. How will it read? How does it read? And if you had to name a few worthy things to which you attend well and faithfully, what, I wonder, would those be?
Comfortably,
Is everything in our culture collaborating for us not to rest? Maybe. I worked for a company many years ago that gave us a week-long productivity workshop. It was based loosely on the Franklin Covey planning system. You might recall those giant planners. You might still have a backache from carrying around those giant planners. And all of those planners have largely been replaced by cell phones. And yet, Franklin Covey is still around. And it brands itself on being the world leader in helping organizations that achieve results, requiring lasting changes in human behavior, with the emphasis, I think, on achieving results. At least that's the way it seemed then, and even more now, it seems like that to me. Did anyone have the Franklin Covey planner or something like it? Yeah, I had one because it was given to me in the workshop. The first 2 days of the workshop was spent deconstructing a list we all had to prepare for the week before the seminar started. And what we had to do was list every single minute of our waking hours during the week. How long did it take for us to get ready for work, eat breakfast, commute to work, get coffee, begin your work day, take a lunch, finish your day at work? And then what? Did you go pick up your kids? Maybe take them somewhere like swimming or dance class, soccer? Did you go to the gym? Did you go to a happy hour? Or was it the day that you mixed it up and went somewhere else? For me, that somewhere was sometimes my other job. And then it went into, what time did you eventually get home? Make dinner, feed your pets, spend time with your loved ones. How many minutes did it take to brush your teeth? For real. Read before bed, sleep. How many hours did you sleep? I'm talking down to the minute. They wanted to clock ourselves doing everything, and the whole thing seemed rather invasive to me. There were 10 of us in this class, 8 men and 2 women that were on the leadership team, and not a single one of us found the time to write down the time that they required for us to record every single minute of their day, and the facilitator was not pleased. I got the impression that we had all failed time management already. So the goal, you see, was to make us more productive, to see where we were wasting time. And mind you, this was the 90s and the internet was still in its infancy, so we were wasting time the old-fashioned way. If we could find the time to waste, that is. It was a salaried job, and we were expected to be there until our work was done. That could often change our 40-hour work week into a 60-hour work week, or sometimes more. It all depended on the client's schedules. So that being said, I kind of think that workshop was a waste of my time. I don't think a single one of us needed help being more productive. I think what we needed to notice was that maybe we would be more productive if we got more rest. Not if we cut out our latte stop, which is what she told me to do. I could make coffee at home in a much more efficient manner, but no, that is not for me. That's something I like to do. Or anything else. Heaven forbid that we should watch TV or just simply be. In our culture, we've frequently been valued in relation to how hard we work and what we produce. We are so much more than that. And all of us are harmed by a culture that doesn't value us beyond how hard we can work. You are not a machine. You are divine. You are love. You are enough. You deserve rest. So are we humans holding up our end of the bargain if we're too exhausted by what capitalism and the legacy of white supremacy culture expects of us, rather than allowing us to imagine the world in a more equitable way? a more sustainable future, a future that activates and celebrates our creativity, allows us more time tending to our relationship with others and ourselves. Our bodies are not machines. Rest is care. Rest is radical. So what is rest exactly? We need rest throughout our day, absolutely, but our day starts with waking up in the morning. Did we get enough sleep? Enough sleep for most people is 7 to 8 hours per night. And you may have heard that some people, maybe even you, operate just fine on less than that, but actually studies show that that's really rare. If you believe you are one of those special people, I'm inviting you to try giving 7 to 8 hours a try for a week or two or more or forever, and just see how you feel. Now, it's true that not all people are in a situation where they can do this, where they can get enough sleep. Many things inhibit their ability to do that. But what would the world be like if everyone had the opportunity to have enough sleep? It would be a good place to start in the work of restorative justice. So what else is rest? Breaks in our day? Whatever type of work you do, breaks are important. California state law requires that employees get a minimum of 2 10-minute breaks and a 30-minute break in a 6 to 8 hour day. And there are all kinds of laws like this and all kinds of class action lawsuits against companies that deny their employees of these rights. Not only is that resistance, but the fact that these laws were established in the first place comes to us by the resistance of our ancestors. Thank you, ancestors. We all needed that. Now, we just need to be able to give those breaks to ourselves, both in the workplace and outside in the real world. If you're offered a break ever, please take it, enjoy it, it's your time. It is an act of a resistance to replenish your body and spirit. So whatever kind of work you do, breaks are important for our overall well-being. And there are many ways to rest at home, but getting up to do a chore between whatever it is you're doing is not rest. Taking a break is an act of resistance. You are reprogramming yourself to think of your own needs rather than the narrative of our work culture that praises productivity over stillness. Now, you might be wondering what rest is beyond taking breaks and sleeping. In her book, Rest is Resistance, Tricia Hersey describes rest as anything that slows you down enough to allow your body and mind to connect in its deepest way. Anything that slows you down enough to allow your mind and body to connect in its deepest way. Tricia Hersey created the Nap Ministry to promote rest as a spiritual practice. And our meditation today will be a rest. Let's take a rest, everyone. You made it to church or to wherever you are listening from. Congratulations. We're going to take a break together, and maybe we start by taking a little stretch, if that's something you do before you rest. Take a few deep breaths. Maybe you close your eyes or soften your gaze, and we're just going to rest. Take a load off, everyone. We're just going to rest today. You are enough. You can rest. You are worthy of care. You all look so peaceful, I almost didn't want to ring that. So I'm curious to know what your best practices are for resting. So if you're tuning into Zoom, feel free to share how you rest in the chat. And for those of us in the room, does anybody want to just shout out a rest practice they do or how they like to rest?
Mine's a little weird because it's like still using my brain, but I like playing chess on my phone.
Playing chess on your phone. I talked with Reverend Sean earlier this week about how she rests, and she said she does it by putting puzzles together. So, yeah, I hear that. Anyone else? Coloring. Sit and pet your dogs. I think that lesson from cats is a great one. They're very good at resting. That's beautiful. Thank you, Craig. He likes to lay on his yoga mat and stare at the ceiling, if you couldn't hear that in Zoom.
I lie down flat.
Lying down flat. Beautiful. Yeah, so lately, my rest practice has been putting on a record, yes, a record, and listening to a whole side of an album. A whole album, sometimes I don't take that long of a rest, but one side is just enough. So in our opening reading, Safford reflects on the epitaph she saw in an old New England cemetery stating, she attended well and faithfully to a few worthy things, and how that compared to how Safford saw herself at that time. She saw herself as a woman whose epitaph might capture the essence of someone who attended frantically and ineffectually tended to a great many unimportant and meaningless details. It's easy for us to get wrapped up in those unimportant, meaningless details, and important ones too. We've been raised in a culture that worships busyness and looks down its nose at laziness. How will we know what the few worthy things that we need to be attending to are if we don't have time to reflect? In her book, Rest as Resistance, Tricia Hersey tells a story about her grandmother. Now, her grandmother would excuse herself to shut her eyes for about 30 minutes every day. Hersey remembers her grandmother's practice from the time she was a child and would be trying to stay quiet and not wake up her grandmother, thinking she was sleeping while sitting up. This is not something she noticed other people doing. Whenever young Trissa would inquire about it, her grandmother's reply was always the same: all shut eye ain't sleep. I am resting my eyes and listening for what God wants to tell me. This wisdom, this informed act of resistance was practiced by a Black woman who relocated to Chicago in the Great Migration of the 1950s. Hersey's grandmother was always balancing a heavy load. Yet she took this rest daily through raising 8 children in a time where she was experiencing poverty and racism, and literally always had something else she could have been doing instead of being. Instead, she modeled to those in her care that it was okay to just be. Tricia Hersey also says this: all of culture is collaborating for us not to rest. We're sleep deprived because the systems view us as machines, but our bodies are not machines. She says that rest, sleep, naps, daydreaming, these are things that allow us to slow down. They're gateways to our creativity and to our deeper selves. Rest is care. Rest is radical. Now, there's always going to be a lot to do, but I invite you to consider one of these things that might help you to do the things you are passionate about and take a time out. You are more than what you produce and more than your accomplishments. The Protestant work ethic that was left to us encourage us to pull ourselves up by our bootstraps. Now, I did a little work on this, and that pull yourself up by your bootstraps comes from a time where maybe there were actually bootstraps, for one thing, but also it's about 100 years old. Maybe that needs a rest. It comes from a mindset that values what we do over who we are and how we are. So I dare you to radicalize yourself by daydreaming, staring out a window, laying on the floor and looking up at the ceiling, curling up under a blanket, gaze at the stars, or do what might be seen as being considered absolutely nothing. Perhaps that still small voice inside will make itself known. You are not a machine. You are more than what you produce. You are divine, you are love, and you are rest. Resist and take a rest.
Rise in body or spirit and sing our closing song.
Unitarian Universalist congregations are fully self-supporting, meaning that members and friends raise all the funds for our operating budget, our ministries, and programs of the church. We're ever grateful for your gifts of time, treasure, and talent. OCUUC amplifies that spirit of generosity by sharing one half of the plate we receive with an organization that shares our values. This month, we are sharing with Ray Elementary School. And it's a school that we helped with their robotics program last year, and now we're wanting to help with their STEM, their science and technology, and help me out here, engineering, thank you, and yes, and math. And actually, they're now adding on another one too to call it STEAM. What's the M? I don't know. Anyway. Oh, thank you. Very important. The A, right. Okay, in any case, there are multiple ways that you can support the church and this organization. You can mail a check, you can go through our website, or use an app called Vanco Mobile. If you're a roomer, you can also use the basket as it is passed. The choice is yours. All the information is on our website should you need it. And as always, thank you for your generosity.
This joy that I have, the world didn't give it to me. Oh, this joy that I have, the world didn't give it to me. Don't you know that this joy that I have, the world didn't give it to me. Oh, I said the world didn't give it, the world can't take it away. Oh, this strength that I have, this strength that I have, this strength that I have. Oh, yeah, now. The world didn't give it to me. The world didn't give it to me. This strength that I have. Oh, yeah, the world didn't give it to me. The world didn't give it to me. This strength that I have. Oh, yeah, the world didn't give it to me. Oh, I said the world didn't give it, the world can't take it away. Oh, this love that I have, this love that I have. Oh, yeah, now. The world didn't give it to me. The world didn't give it to me. This love that I have. Oh, yeah, the world didn't give it to me. Don't you know that this love that I have, yeah, the world didn't give it to me. Singing, the world didn't give it, the world can't take it away. Oh, this pride that I have, this pride that I have, this pride that I have. Oh, yeah, now. The world didn't give it to me. The world didn't give it to me. This pride that I have. I said the world didn't give it to me. Don't you know that this pride that I have, yeah, the world didn't give it to me. Oh, I said the world didn't give it, the world can't take it away. All this peace that I have, oh, yeah. The world didn't give it to me. The world didn't give me my peace that I have. Oh, yeah, now. The world didn't give it to me. Won't you sing about peace? This peace that I have. Oh, yeah, now. The world didn't give it to me. I said the world didn't give it, the world can't take it away. All this joy that I have, this joy that I have, this joy that I have. Oh, yeah, now, the world didn't give it to me. The world didn't give it to me. This joy that I have. I said the world didn't give it to me. Don't you know that this joy that I have, the world didn't give it to me. Oh, I said the world didn't give it, the world can't take it away. The world didn't give it and the world can't take it away. The world didn't give it, the world can't take it away. The world didn't give it and the world can't take it away. The world didn't give it, the world can't take it away. The world didn't give it and the world can't take it away. The world didn't give it, the world can't take it away.
Resistance Revival Chorus believes in the words written by the poet Toy Darracott when she wrote, "Joy is an act of resistance." We believe in the words of Mr. Harry Belafonte, who said, "When the movement is strong, the music is strong." We sing to revive the hearts of those who fight for social justice, and we sing together for freedom.
Gather together, a song that puts our intentions into words and expresses our gratitudes for the many gifts that we share.
We gather together, we gather as one, for peace, love, and justice for everyone. We give from our hearts to show that we care. We can change lives with what we share.
Now is the time when we honor all the important events in our lives, and you're invited, one and all, whether you're a member, a friend, or just visiting with us today, to participate in our weekly ritual of joys and sorrows. And I would like to invite Judith, who we very much enjoy, up to be at our table. So let's take a deep breath. Perhaps you're coming here today holding something close to your heart, moments from the last days or hours that have struck you at your core. And if you'd like to honor such a profound joy or sorrow, you're invited to do so. And if you're a roomer, you're invited to place that in the chat. And if you're in the room, there's some coming around, I think, with a piece of paper. Yes. And if you have something that you would like to pass in that you would like me to announce, I'm happy to do that. And is that it today? Or we can just light a candle. Well, I do have one. Oh, and we have another one here. Okay, yeah, come on up. Oh, and light the candles. I have some joys to read today. Mifanui K says, my brother Pete, for the time being, had a bounce back, is lucid, and we can still say, I love you when we call each other. Gretel W says she would like to thank Lori K for being such a good friend. Amy G says, skiing in the beautiful snow-covered mountains with friends and family this week. The laughter and smiles and joy filled my soul. Alejandro says, I have a candle of gratitude and hope. I'm grateful for the community that has supported me through the grieving of my dog Pucker, for not minimizing it and being so understanding, how loving you all have been. Candle of hope that I beat this flu soon, as I've been out with a fever and other symptoms for 5 days now. So let's send healing to Alejandro as well. Tatiana H. says, 2 years of the war in Ukraine. I never thought it would be so long. I pray for help and courage. Carol R. would like a candle lit for a dear friend who is like family and will soon be leaving this world as we know it. This person has taught me so much by fighting for justice for all of us. Words cannot express how sad I am to say goodbye. And I'm reading this on behalf of Marilyn G. Marilyn has been sick in the hospital for a few days, and although she is feeling much better, she sincerely appreciates all of your texts and emails and cards and is feeling so much support from this community. I will say it's difficult for her to speak right now, so keep those texts and emails coming. She's reading them and taking a lot of comfort from those. And if you would like to send a card, send them to her house so she has a million cards when she gets back. And also, Sarah J. would like a candle of healing lit for her good friend Don M. as he recovers from surgery this past Wednesday. Let us hold in love all the joys and celebrations and the hurts and sadness, both spoken and silent. Let our joys remind us to be thankful, our concerns to remind us to hope, and our sorrows to remind us to connect. Let all these moments remind us that we are not alone.
Spirit of life, help us to be present with all that is our life, both our deepest sorrows and our greatest joys, so that we can truly live, engaging fully in our own life and in our community. Spirit of community, help us to know how linked we are, how each one of our cares touches us all. Help us to ask for support when we are in need, and offer our support to others when we are able, so that we may rest in the solace of one another's love. Spirit of love, help us to love our neighbor as we love ourselves, so that we might fully embody love and resist hatred. Spirit of resistance, help us to stick up for what is right, even when we're tired or afraid. Help us to dream of the world as it should be, and act to bring that world about. Help us to find hope each day. Spirit of hope, help us through this day and each day. Help us to be present for all that is our life. For all this we pray, amen, and blessed be.
Let us join together as we extinguish the flame of our chalice and say together, We extinguish this chalice, but not the light of truth. Until we are together again. So thank you so much for joining us this morning. We're a congregation made up of people who believe differently. And yet, when we gather together, whether we're in the room or on Zoom, we make up one loving community. So we need not think alike to love alike. If you're a guest or visitor or someone who is not yet been known to us, I invite you to become part of this beloved community. If you'd like to know more about our church, we invite you to either stop by the welcome table in the courtyard where we have some goodies and information, or contact us at these email addresses, hello and the blast. That's how you can connect with us. So please reach out. We would love to connect with you. For our roomers, we also are happy to offer a 15-minute tour of our campus after the service. So if you're interested, you can meet me and Wendy over here. There it is. There's our tour sign. And you can meet us over here by the door, and we will give you a little tour of our facility. Zoomers, you're welcome to stay after and chat with one another online. So please do, if you can. We want everyone to feel a part of our beloved community. So please reach out, and we will help you get connected.
Okay, so we have some announcements today. There are quite a few things coming up this week. We have Reverend Sean is doing her class on Judaism this week. I believe it's on Tuesday at 7 p.m. And if you were at the first one, it was really fabulous. So I encourage you to join that online. And today we have our women's circle at noon, and we have many weekly meetings that are coming up. And speaking of meetings, we are putting together an in-person sermon discussion group. And the tentative day is going to be the fourth Sunday of every month directly after service. And that would start in March. So if you're interested, come talk to me and we will go from there. But anyway, I just thought I would let you all know that. And as we finish up today, I'm just thankful that you are here. And for our benediction today, I did want to include a few more things. Just a couple of things that came in case you forgot how to rest. We have a couple more practices from our online community. Dark baths with music, a good nap, recliner phone puzzles. I like this idea. I'll have to get a recliner. So what I'm leaving you with today is just the knowledge that the whole world rests. Everything in nature rests. Do you ever walk out into your garden or any place where there's flowers and notice a huge difference in a couple of days? That's because they rested at night. Flowers fold up and hold their energy and repair themselves. And every organism in this world does that. Every organism rests, and they know exactly how to do it. If you'd like some lessons, I encourage you to pay attention to the Zen cat story and maybe bring a cat into your life because they can teach you so much about rest. But every animal, every tree, everything rests. And I wish that for you as well. May it be so.